Here we are today with Jeff and Bettina. Now, you've written the new book, Earth to Table, which is fabulous. But I just wanted to show everybody, when you first came to me, Jeff, this is what you brought me.
Yes.
This is what you brought me. And this is what we've ended up with. And it's fantastic. Isn't it amazing? Now, tell me, though, I do have a question, though, because you are professional chefs.
Yes.
You work in kitchens. How did you find the process of writing, the difference in writing for recipes for the restaurant versus a cookbook? Was that a challenge for you, and how was that process?
Well, on my end, I don't write recipes for the restaurant. We just
Well, that goes that question.
Yeah, we just sort of make it up. Whereas Bettina in pastry actually
Well,
has
you
to
have to have been more specific.
So
Yeah.
it was,
So
for me, it was virtually a nightmare. Like, that was the hardest part, was writing the recipes.
Because then it has to be a tablespoon, and it has to be 4 cups, or it has to be a pound of meat, or
It
whatever.
has to be right, absolutely. And so that was completely new to me. Completely new process of not only writing recipes at all, but making sure that they worked.
Yeah. And how did you find? Well, the pastry, you have to be accurate. There's no feeling little of this, little of that.
They're challenging because even all the recipes that we have for the restaurant have handwritten notes all over them for time of year and temperatures in the kitchen, and so it's hard to translate that into a book. Like, how do you adapt? So you have all these kind of really vague statements and finish things by color, not necessarily
And
by
touch and what.
and temperature and time aren't necessarily, but everybody wants, like, how hot does the oven have to be? How long am I cooking it for? And you're like, well, until it's golden brown.
I know.
And however that works for you, you can figure that
It
out.
used to be, wasn't it? You just stuck your hand in the oven, and however long you left your arm in there, that's what the temperature was. I mean, it's a
Sure.
whole concept of
Yeah.
But I mean, I think, and recipe writing is going to be one of the hardest technical writing there is out there.
Sure.
Because it's, as you found.
Oh, and we even hired a professional editor who worked for Canadian Living,
Yes.
and they've really learned a lot because readers actually call and actually call you on the recipes, and it has already happened for the book. We've had people comment this and that about the recipes. So
Well, it's all, everybody's stoves and ovens and kitchens are different, so it's
So
tough.
many-
but
so
you
many
just have to
things.
kind of like take a deep breath.
Yeah.
It's, you're in good company with that. But the best part of this, though, too, I mean, the recipe writing aside, it's a real relationship with the farmer you have in here. And I remember when I first got the book and I went through it, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll go through it. But I skipped all the recipes and I just read all the text. And it was like a whole different book for me. It was just, right down to the milling of the flour, the wheat and the red fife, and that was fantastic. Was that intentional, or did that just come about in the process?
This book is as much as a memoir. It's what we did in a year. It's a diary, and these are things that we've discovered as we were learning about the Earth to Table philosophy, and so we learned a lot, even as professionals, and so we just kept adding and adding and adding and writing, and Random House was
pages as they read.
gracious enough to make the book a little bit thicker. And for me personally, the recipes were almost secondary to what we were putting in content. And so the manuscript I read, sort of straight through when it was finished. And we did a lot and we learned a lot. So there it is in the book.
Now, I know I'm going to call you affectionate. You're both cookbookaholics, and I say that with affection because you love your cookbooks. So, what writers do you turn to to inspire you, or recipe writers or food writers do you like and enjoy?
For me? Well, I always am drawn to the recipes.
Right.
And believe it or not, one of my people that the person that I go to the most is Martha Stewart.
I know. That baking handbook, I think.
The baking handbook's really good.
The hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah, but she is, as much as she has critics, like, her food is good.
Yeah.
And
we're big fans. Don't you? We're we love her to death.
And especially in baking, because there's not a lot of baking and pastry books out there. There's textbooks, and another book that I go to all the time is In the Sweet Kitchen by Regan Daly, and she is a Canadian writer.
She worked for us. When she was writing the book, we all had to go to Weight Watchers afterwards. It was a disaster. No, but she worked for us.
Yeah,
when
and she was published by Random House too.
That's right.
So they Jennifer Shepard at the time had a lot of funny stories about publishing that book with her.
It was a read.
But it is one of the best
Reference
textbooks out there, because a lot of the books you get in your school are a little too
dry,
a little boring, and she actually explains things and where things come from. There's a massive reference section, and Yeah. She's my favorite pastry
So
writer.
what chefs inspire you then? If you're not your books, what rephrase the question for you being a chef? What?
I love Heston Blumenthal's books. I love his Perfection series, and the Fat Duck Cookbook is just too big for me. You can't even lift it.
That's why you did this year. You did the little fat duck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we call it. It's
So
like
I
the mini
love,
one.
Yeah, mini book.
I love Heston, and I think Gordon Ramsay's very inspirational. I like his stuff. I love Nigel Slater, and all the Alice Waters books.
That's good. So you like that earth? You like that earthiness?
Oh
to the books?
yeah, absolutely. And but really, those are the ones that I sort of go to. Chez Panisse Cooking is the first book I ever bought ever. And I have probably 3 or 5 different versions of it, and they're the ones beat up.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that you notice, you know.
Well, that's the biggest
keep going
compliment
back
to a
to.
cookbook writer is the more
Right.
beaten up and
Yeah.
and splattered and stuck together the pages. I mean, that's the greatest
I
compliment.
love that in our kitchen now, there's 2 copies of this book
Yes.
where the dust jacket is gone,
Excellent.
and it's actually being used within the kitchen because the recipes are in the.
But they get fired if they don't use it, don't they?
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. Well, listen, you think you do another one? Did you like the
I
process?
hope so. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
we had a great time.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, we would love to do another one. We're opening a bakery first
Yeah.
in the spring, but
Well,
So
maybe.
after
So
that.
then after that.
Yeah.
Well, I can see. I was thinking the bakery book now.
maybe a bakery book. Yeah.
You'd have to be second fiddle a little bit.
Yeah.
Not with the bread, still, maybe.
Well, there's pizza. We're gonna do
Right.
bakery of the day and pizza
And
at
savory
night.
ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you both for coming,
Thank
and
you.
Thanks for having us.
congratulations.
Thank you so much
Sure.
for all your support.
Yeah.